त्र्यम्बकं यजामहे सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनम् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्
Hi, this is Amalia Eon Karis.
Hey everyone, it's Satya, and you're listening to Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda.
सुगन्धिं पुष्टिवर्धनम् उर्वारुकमिव बन्धनम् मृत्योर्मुक्षीयमामृतात्
Okay, girl, when you talked to me earlier today and told me about what happened at your wedding, I have just been like thinking about that the whole day and was wondering if you might share it with our audience, because there's such a interesting connection here. I think so many people feel like, you know, something with their friend, like they start outgrowing their friendships, and then they don't really know what to do or how to like move beyond or kind of evolve the friendship. Like they start growing, and the story you told me about your wedding was just so funny. Can you tell us what happened with your friend?
Thanks for thinking it was funny.
Well, yeah, it was funny.
I think it's because of the way that I probably left the message. It is funny to me now. It's actually, now I can't think about it without laughing. I can't. But for a hot minute there, I did not think it was funny. I was obsessing for a long time and upset. But, you know, so, okay.
It's like the bride's worst nightmare in one with the bridesmaid. Sorry. Spoiler alert. But anyway, yeah, please tell us what happened.
Oh, gosh. Well, I guess, how do I want to start this? I guess I'll just say, so, okay, I was getting married. Picture this, you know, I'm on this big yacht on the San Francisco Bay. There's fireworks going off. It's like the most perfect wedding ever. And I'm on cloud nine. I am probably in this moment happier than I've ever felt or can remember feeling in a moment in my life. Just so happy that I can't even explain. So there I am. And my what is it? Maid of honor. Yes. Maid of honor.
Your bestie. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
How long had you known her?
Goes up to give a speech. A long time. I mean, a long time. 35. We've been literally best friends for, let me think how, 40 years.
Yeah, it's a long time.
40 people, 40. And so she gets up and she says some things. And okay, first of all, she was the last person to give a speech. We already had 4 people go before her, and everyone gave the most beautiful talks. They were funny. They were poignant. People, you know, you could hear a pin drop on that entire boat because everyone was just captivated listening to what people had to say about this wedding, you know, and about me and my husband. And then she gets up there and she just starts talking and she has like papers. She's like crumbling. They're crumbled up. They're disorganized. She has like some glasses on. She's kind of taking them on and off. And I don't even think I'd ever seen her like this before. And she starts to just speak. I don't even know what she's actually really saying. And then it became apparent that nobody else on the entire boat did either, because people just started kind of tuning her out and talking among themselves. Everybody just started talking, and nobody was listening to her. Thank God, because she was saying like all these bizarre things, had nothing to do with my actual marriage. She was more like, being a friend of Satya's has been interesting. And anyway, I'm not even going to say what she said, but I was just, my jaw was on the floor. It was kind of like, wait, what's she trying to say? And I actually, looking back on it, I think she was just nervous. Wait,
was she like talking shit about you?
Yes. Like I think she was just like, I don't, okay. What, like maybe I've blocked it out, but I think, oh gosh, I have blocked it out. Oh, that's not good. It was something like, being friends with Satya, needless to say, it takes a lot of patience or something like that. But it was worse. It sounded really bad. And
so
she
wait,
said
how
nothing.
How did you feel listening to all of that?
Horrible. I went from feeling just blissed out of my mind, blissed out. You could just imagine. It was like a movie. The look on my face went from like, it happens to like
it sounds like a scene out of Bridesmaids or something.
It was like just like that.
The jealous friend is like trying to ruin your wedding because she doesn't.
Oh my gosh.
Right?
Yeah. And it was so weird. And it felt surreal because I thought this is not really happening right now. And oh my goodness, I felt embarrassed. And then I was like, well, I guess nobody's really listening anyway, but oh my goodness, I'm thinking everybody's hearing it at the same time. I'm wondering. And she never said anything about like the actual, like the marriage or me and my partner or anything. It was just kind of like, she's just talking about other stuff. It had nothing to do with
it's like she's airing all her bad vibes from you, like all her resentments that she never got to share all these years or something.
Yeah. And you know how in a book there's this thing called foreshadowing, like, the night before, I kid you not, the night before, she said something to me like, I need to go last. I need to go last in the speeches. I'm like, okay, queen, whatever you want, I will do whatever you want. Always wanting to please her, right? Like, okay, we'll put you last. Because I was thinking if she had even gone in the middle, it would have been better. At least we would have ended with something on a positive note with somebody else, right? But no, she was like, I need to go last. And I said, okay, well.
She's like planning to take it down.
I guess so. But I don't even think she realized this, or maybe I'm too, like, I think too highly of people or too positive about them. But I can't believe that she would actually try to do that. And maybe she was just nervous. Maybe she was just, I don't know. But I had never seen her act like this. I didn't even know who she was when she stepped up there. And, and she said also, and I said, well, the organizer of the party and the DJ, they say that you can only speak for, for like, I think it's a minute or two that they allow, like they're not even speeches. What are they? I mean, they're toasts. And, but I think that's a good idea because nobody wants to listen to a huge long toast that isn't interesting and la la la, right? So nobody likes that. So, and her response to that was, I will speak however long I want to.
Oh, wow. How long did she speak in the end?
Well, now I don't remember. I don't think it was all that long, but it was, any 5 seconds would have been too long of whatever nonsense and jibber jabber was going on there. But I should have known. I just remember freezing in that moment when she said, well, I'll do whatever I want. And I was like, okay, I must be losing my mind here because that seems really strange that she would say that. But I just couldn't believe she would say something like that. So I just kind of chalked it up to whatever.
Okay, what's the worst thing she said? Come on, tell us.
You know what? I'm kind of embarrassed because this is a podcast and I should know this, but I think I blocked it out. It was something like, needless to say, being friends with Satya and then she kind of paused or something, and she was like, something about has required a lot of patience or something like that. I mean, as if, what friendship doesn't require a lot of patience, especially 40 years worth. And believe me, this person is no
you guys
easy
have
walk
been
in the
through
park.
it. Yeah.
Oh goodness. Yeah. So, I mean, most of it was all very supportive. We didn't go through our 40 years like fighting or anything like that. We never like stabbed each other in the back or did any horrible things that, so this was just, very strange. Anyway, so when she's finished, she walks over to me, and I went into shock.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not kidding. I was in shock, and I was just a deer in headlights, and what?
Well, I'm just like on the edge of my seat. So what happened? She came over to you. And
so my husband, I wish he wouldn't have actually left my side, but he, just before she walked up, he said like, "Hey, are you okay?" And he kind of like tapped me, and he's like, "Are you okay? Because I'm going to go over there and talk to so-and-so." And I was in shock, and I of course I'm going to say I'm okay, but I didn't know I wasn't.
Right. You're like in the freeze mode.
Yes, I was in freeze mode. And because he walked away and then she came up to me and nobody else was there, I was kind of like, I guess I lashed out, but it didn't feel like a lashing out. I just said to her, "What was that? What was that?"
That's understandable. Yeah.
Because
What'd
she didn't
say?
She wasn't even acting like herself. And my husband had said, like, my husband actually, while she was giving the toast, put his head in my lap. Like, oh my God, what is she talking about? Oh my goodness. And this is a man who like doesn't even, involve
Yeah, I can't imagine
himself.
him doing that.
Right?
Yeah.
He doesn't even
involve. It must have been
him.
pretty bad. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. He was just like, oh, what's happening?
He's like hiding under the table.
Exactly, and so, and then he was off, talking to some other people, and I just said, "What was that?" Oh, and so my husband had said, like, it's like she's acting like she's her boyfriend, because her boyfriend at the time, it was like something he would do, but not something she would do. It wasn't her personality at all. It was really weird. It was really weird. I cannot understand this. But anyway, so I was in shock, and I said, what was that? And she said, what do you mean? What was that? And I said, you didn't even sound like yourself. You sounded like, and then I said the name of her boyfriend. And then that was the last thing. She just couldn't even talk to me. She turned around, walked away. And I, of course, had way too many other things to deal with. I couldn't go chasing after her and dealing with it, but I didn't realize what was happening. I thought we were going to talk it out or something, but she just walked away. And
so what happened with your friendship after the wedding?
Yeah. So there I was, I'd gone from the most blissful moment in my life to just complete down spiral, went into shock. I'm sorry, I can't remember more, but I really think it was so shocking that I actually blocked most of it out. And
it's traumatizing.
It was, and it feels like shame even to even say that it was traumatic for me, because I feel like, oh, I should be able to handle this. Oh, I'm a big girl, whatever,
Yeah, but this is supposed to be like the most important day of your life, and it's you have only your near and dear ones, and everyone should be like supporting the marriage. And here's your best friend, who's more like a sister, who's known you almost your entire life, and she doesn't have anything good to say, and what she does say is like so shocking that you're in horror and your husband's hiding under the table in your lap. So what the hell happened to the friendship after that? Like, where do you go from there?
Yeah, so so we went off to our honeymoon, and I was sending some group photos, because I wasn't even on Facebook or anything, and I was sending photos of where we were to some of my closest friends. And she didn't respond at all. She didn't respond. And then days later, no response, no nothing. And that was it. That was it.
You've never talked to her since?
That was it. Never talked to her since. I sent her a few texts after that, and she just never responded.
She just MIA. I wonder if she's like mortified by what she said, or that was just her like parting gift to you. She's like, oh, she's married now, so she doesn't need me.
Oh, goodness, no. I know her, and no, she's definitely seeing herself as some kind of victim in this situation, and that I treated her so badly because I said, what was that? And because I thought she did something. Yeah, because and even if in that moment I maybe I overreacted or something, I still feel like that's something, it was a small thing between just the two of us. Nobody heard that interaction. And I still think
she was like talking to the whole group.
Yeah. So I still think, we could have worked through that or at least had a discussion about it, even if the discussion was.
Okay. Was she trying to bring up some like gripe she had with you there? Like for the whole.
I think she was without realizing it. I think she thinks that she wasn't, but I think she was.
It was just unconscious. She was using the platform.
Yeah. And I think she was completely unconscious. And it's just strange to me that there was no conversation about, like, let's say I had an interaction with somebody, I would, after 40 years of friendship, I would respect the friendship enough to at least say, I just don't want to be friends anymore, or I need a break or something, because there was something about that happened, or if I was her, like, it just, okay, you said this to me and my intentions were so pure and I tried my best, and, you hurt my feelings so bad and I don't live up to your expectations or something. And, and I just feel like it's too triggering for me and I need anything. Like, we should be able to discuss the end of the friendship and why we're doing that. So if nothing else, so that we both can learn and grow from that, right? If nothing else. But it shocked me.
We hope that, but that's just people.
A lot of people can't.
Yeah. A lot of people.
Right. And that's where I have to really reach in and pull my compassion out, because I just cannot understand that. And it's really, I have to really reach to understand how that some people really are so uncomfortable with, or that they feel so hurt and to the point that they fracture something and just break it off, and there's zero words, zero conversation, zero, like that. I can't understand it.
Well, not everybody has the capacity to self-reflect if they don't want to look in the mirror. Like, a lot of people just bury and hide and put all the things in this like closet of resentment, and then given an opportunity, like she's given a mic and an ability to grandstand where everyone's listening to her. And then she feels like, now's my opportunity to like really pull something out of the bag. And it's like unconscious. So like, do you really want a friend like that? Probably not. I would hope not. Like, it doesn't sound like a friend. And knowing you and how much personal work you do and how much communication is important to you, like that is, I mean, this is just a perfect example of how we outgrow friendships, especially as we evolve consciously. And you've done so much work on yourself. And, when you were a child and met her, maybe you just played together and everything was very simple. But as you go through life and go through relationships and go after your dreams and make things happen, like, not everybody grows at the same pace or rate or even has the same kind of desires or purpose. So often, like, our evolution takes us away from people. I know mine has quite dramatically. I think there's only one person from my childhood, one from my entire childhood that I have contact with. And that includes blood relatives.
Yeah. Wow. Well, thank you for saying just that, it was unconscious, probably how she was, because I couldn't, I guess I was just too close to the situation, and but I could feel that it was so off, and it wasn't even it was about her. It was entirely about her. The whole thing was about her. It had nothing to do with anyone else. And I saw her through this whole other lens, and the weird thing is, and I know we're approaching time, so I don't know if we can say all of it before, but just that there were signs and there were things that were happening in the months leading up to this that I had been feeling like, I don't think I can continue this friendship. And it was things like...
So what were those signs? Yeah.
Those things were like her just calling and being really angry, really entitled about other people in her life, people at her work, her partner she was with, various, every interaction she had with no consciousness of her own, creating or her own role or
just personal responsibility in it.
Exactly. Zero. Just a lot of anger, blame toward others, entitlement. I deserve this. I need this. And just very desperate and very, and the guy she was with at the time, she desperately wanted him to propose to her, and he wouldn't. He refused to. And so I think that probably had something to do with it. I think she just cracked seeing me with this man who loved me so much and proposed, right off the cuff and just, made this beautiful wedding and organized this beautiful wedding. And there had to be some piece of that somewhere in the unconscious for her, I'm sure. But anyway, there was a lot of that. And then I was thinking, it hasn't just been this year. This has been going on. And I think, it was almost like she was feeding into the parasite, and then she was spreading that parasite to me in ways. Cause then I would find myself sometimes getting angry about stuff and cause she would be like, well, people at my work, well, they think I'm this and this and that, but I'm just being real. At least I'm real. At least I'm real. That's what she says, and I just,
she's puking all over you. This.
Exactly. And I
victim consciousness.
Exactly. Full blown. And I felt like I could not, I feel like my role throughout her life was to always be there for her, always be there for her, always be the counselor, always tell her how wonderful she is, always tell her what a great job she's doing, be her greatest cheerleader, her greatest, all of that. And I felt like it was getting to a point where I just couldn't even anymore, because she wasn't even hearing even just those things. And at one point she said, well, I think I'm going through pre-menopause and I'll be lucky if I have any friends left at the end of this. And yeah, that might have been a sign.
Fulfilling prophecy.
Yeah, exactly. So I was already like, oh no, I shouldn't, And then I had an intuition. Oh boy, was this a big one about my intuition, about listening to that little voice, because I thought to myself before I had asked her to do a toast, I thought, I really don't want her to do a toast. I do not want her to do a toast. I do not want her to do a toast. But what did I do? I overrode my intuition about what was best for me, because I wanted to please her. And my thought was, if I don't ask her to do a toast and I have somebody else do a toast, she is going to
Well, you would have lost her friendship either way.
Probably. I mean, she would have been so hurt by that.
Yeah, of course.
And so I had to, right? But I could have
to. You chose to.
I didn't have to, right?
I mean, the great thing, what I'm hearing is that you stopped enabling the psychosis of that parasite to run by asking, you let her do the toast, which was enabling her to give her the platform. Well, you finally stopped enabling her kind of, I don't know, I was going to call it like a narcissistic parasite, or this sort of energy that she had to get what she wanted. So you gave it to her, but then afterwards you were like, you called it, like, what was that? And just you naming it when it was there for everyone to see,
Oh, wow.
cut it, right? So it was going to happen one way or the other. Like if you didn't give her the opportunity to speak at your wedding, you would have had the conversation with her, but it probably would have been in private without a witness. But then your husband and all your friends and family and everybody got to see the kind of illness of the friendship, right? And and then you got to name it, and then it was just done, cut over. It's really hard to cut toxic ties, especially when they're people from our family and childhood. I know, because I've had to do that with pretty much everyone I grew up with, because they were just so toxic. And I know we're at time, and this is a huge topic, but it's beautiful that you had this foreshadowing. You knew that this relationship wasn't serving you anymore, and yet you didn't really know what to do. And I think knowing you and knowing the way you treat your relationships, you're always giving the benefit of doubt, and you're wanting to work through it and evolve and grow together. But not everybody is willing to do that. And when someone's not willing to grow, not willing to change, you had to make a choice. Do I continue to enable this horrible behavior, or do I, let go, say thank you, and be grateful for the lesson and move on? And I think more and more, the more we do the personal work, the more, unfortunately, sometimes this happens, right? Where we just have to let go of the toxic ties. So thank you for sharing that. Very, there's a Black Mirror episode like that you should watch.
Are you serious?
Yes. And it's all about like the social media and the psychosis of people rating. And so the girl gets really fake because she needs all the likes and popularity contest. But everything is based off your popularity, like your credit scores, where you live, everything, like your job. And her best friend, who's super popular and gorgeous and is marrying the great guy, invites her to be the bridesmaid because they're childhood friends. And then her popularity starts dropping and she turns into this psychotic, jealous girl. You have to watch it. It's like your story dramatized in a Black Mirror episode. There you have it. So a little insight into Satya's life, because I'm always exposing myself.
That's right. Satya finally has a story she's willing to share. Oh, goodness. So
thank you for sharing that.
Oh, thank you for listening. And thank you for that feedback, because that it gives me a whole new level of energetics to peer through that I hadn't thought about. And earlier today, when we were WhatsApping, and you mentioned something about how the parasite works through, people are verbalizing in certain ways and expressing in certain ways. And it's, there's so many layers to it that I hadn't even really looked at, and that I could name it and give her that platform. I guess my unconscious self knew that I needed to let her do this, and I needed to just let the chips fall.
Exactly. Take the high road.
All right. Wrap it up.
Reel them in. Well, thank you guys for listening. And if you have a story of having to release a toxic tie in your life that you would like to share with us, or if you have questions about how to release a toxic tie, we would love to hear about it. Please go over to our website, lovesexagenda.com, and write to us. Thanks for listening. Take care. Thanks for hanging out with with us, if you'd like to contact us and stay in touch with us, you can find us at lovesexagenda.com. That's lovesexagenda.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram, Love, Sex, and the Hidden Agenda. Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo